The kitchen in the old harbor house was silent except for the scrape of a spoon against a copper pot. Mara stood at the stove, measuring spices she had inherited but never fully understood. Her grandmother had left no recipe cards, only a tin box of labels from distant ports, each one carrying the scent of another shore. On the table lay wheat flour from the north, maize from a warmer continent, sugar from plantation fields, peppers from trade routes that crossed oceans, and coffee dark as polished wood. To Mara, they looked ordinary. Her neighbor Rafi, a retired dockworker with a habit of speaking as if every ingredient had a passport, insisted they were witnesses. "Everything on that table traveled under pressure," he said. "Some came in the hold of ships, some by choice, some in chains." Mara began with a broth her grandmother had called simple, though it contained the memory of many hands. She toasted onions in oil, added rice, then a slow trail of spices that burned her eyes before settling into warmth. Rafi recognized the method at once. "French technique," he said, with an African pulse. The rice had the comfort of home and the tension of history. As the pot simmered, Mara unfolded the labels from the tin box. One was from Goa, another from Veracruz, another from Saigon. Their names seemed unrelated until she noticed how often they repeated the same pattern. A crop taken from one land, planted in another, cooked until no one remembered the original journey. Chili peppers, once foreign, now essential. Bread, once a sign of empire, now folded around local filling. Coffee, once a plantation crop, now part of morning ritual. Her grandmother had always served the meal in separate bowls, never saying why. That evening Mara understood. The ingredients had not blended into peace. They had met through trade, coercion, hunger, adaptation, and survival. Some flavors had been celebrated only after the labor that produced them was forgotten. When the stew was ready, its surface shone red and gold. Mara tasted it and found sweetness, heat, smoke, and bitterness in the same spoonful. It was not a pure dish, and that was its truth. It carried the memory of voyagers, merchants, colonizers, farmers, cooks, and the unnamed people who turned domination into nourishment. Rafi nodded once, as if a long argument had ended without victory for anyone. "Tomorrow," Mara said, "I will write the recipe." "Not to preserve a myth of origin," Rafi replied, "but to keep the whole road in view."